welcome to the final episode of premiere week of PromoHomo.TV. It's the Nicholas Snow Show, which means, I guess, that I am Nicholas Snow, and I'm so excited that you're here, but I am even more excited that my guest is here. A longtime collaborator for decades, actually, since we were both, in junior high school. While under lockdown during the pandemic, social media guru Matt, I don't say that lightly, he is a guru. It isn't fluff. It's not PR. He launched a simple video program to highlight the amazing people he works with and the communities he loves. A year later, the I Love Gay Today show is a big hit across social media platforms. Having worked behind the scenes with influencers before there was a name for them, I should know, that's kind of how we met in the 90s, Matt is now very much in the spotlight. So I'm going to have Matt coming up on the show, and you definitely want to stay tuned for him. I also want to let you know that if you are watching live and you comment during the show, I can feature you on screen like this. So if you have a question or comment for Matt during the live broadcast, then by all means, go ahead and do that. Now, for their support of my show, I really want to give a shout out to DAP Health. I've been a client of DAP Health for about 10 years, and I'm living powerfully with HIV, but their clients now are much broader. There are people that go there that are not living with HIV, but I wouldn't be here without them, so thank you, DAP Health. And I want to thank for their longtime support, 849 Restaurant and Lounge. My two favorite dishes that I've been ordering these days are the Blueberry Brie Turkey Monte Cristo with a side of applewood bacon, and their cheeseburger is amazing. Did you know that you are 100% organic? Really, right now, you. So what does that mean? Well, you're in my audience, and you're organic, which means I didn't pay to boost my program across social media for you to find it. I have found this organically. You have found me organically. And I encourage you, if you receive value from the program, to share the program and to subscribe to it. So please share it now and tell me where you've shared it. And guess what? Official PromoHomo.TV merch is now on Amazon or available from the merch link at PromoHomo.TV. And if you take a selfie of yourself wearing the Amazon the merchandise, and you tag at PromoHomo.TV on Instagram, I might even put you in the show. In June, I'm launching another series on PromoHomo.TV, a limited series between June and about December. And it will be based upon my book, Life Positive, A Journey to the Center of My Heart. Think of that book as Eat, Pray, Disclose. One of the things I write about in the book is the creation of a worldwide music video campaign to promote HIV testing and safer sex. That campaign came about. You can find The Power to Be Strong on YouTube or ask your smart speaker to play it. And here's the real PromoHomo part. If you're in casting, I'm available. You're seeing me now as a host, but you can find my acting clips in movies and commercials at that link. And I want to thank the PromoHomo.TV superstars who subscribe to PromoHomo.TV for as little as $3 a month. And with that, you get a shout out on the show. You get included in the opening credit sequence for a period of time, and you get a listing and an optional link to your own website at PromoHomo.TV. So I love all that's in motion now. And speaking of in motion, this man just never stops. And I'm going to prove it to you in a up close and personal interview with Matt Skallerud after this. Oh, 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 oh. So Matt Skallerud has been in the LGBTQ plus digital space for over 25 years now, first with GayWired.com and SheWired.com, and now with Pink Media and the I Love Gay Network, hashtag I Love Gay Network, helping companies reach their targeted LGBTQ plus demographic. Matt began his online career in May 1995 with the launch of GayWired.com, which became one of the top 3 LGBTQ websites worldwide. And it would be a glaring omission if I didn't say that. And I know that Matt is laughing right now, inside joke. Having worked with companies large and small for more than 20 years to reach the LGBTQ online consumer through this site and others, he is now focused on the most cutting-edge global innovations in programmatic ad buying, social networking, and Web 2.0 technologies. Matt empowers his clients to reach the LGBTQ market using the most advanced techniques taking hold in the online marketing world today, including real-time ad bidding, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google+, YouTube, blogs, others. There's probably some interplanetary travel thrown in there as well. And without further ado, let me welcome my very good friend, Matt Skallerud. Hi, Matt.
You make me sound so serious.
Well, I figured we would be silly now that I've introduced you.
Well, I should introduce you. If you remember, you're our favorite PromoHomo on the go-go.
Oh, you got that right. I love that. I love that. Gary says hello. He's watching. And Paul is watching. And just a reminder, if any of you are watching this live and you comment or ask a question, it may be featured on the screen. So, Matt, I just want to congratulate you because you've just been very focused for decades and so humble and unassuming, and you've accomplished so much, but more importantly, you provide so much to others, and I want to congratulate you.
Well, thank you. That's sweet. We're inspired by collaborations such as even working with you back then.
And we haven't stopped. We haven't stopped. So I have referred to you as an accidental social media star, and I want to explain to the viewers what I mean by that. So you have historically, Matt, been behind the scenes. And all of a sudden, we're in this pandemic where you could not do what you do so well so frequently, and that's basically globetrot to meet with the people in the communities that you love. And here you are deciding to go to the cameras and start this simple show, which has become huge. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, well, you're right. It evolved. Once upon a time, we used to go around the world, conferences, networking events, and so forth, and just chat with folks, get a chance to connect, meet, reconnect. But then also we used to do a lot of presentations where we'd oftentimes just kind of get up on stage and try to explain how those companies can actually go back and do what we do for them. But every once in a while, we'd find a business that would say, "Oh, this is great. You taught me something, and now I want to hire you to be able to help us do what you just explained."
Well, let's give people a taste of the I Love Gay Today show right now.
Well, hello and welcome to I Love Gay Today. And we are in Paris, France today with Clark Massett. How are you, Clark?
I'm great, Matt. How are you? It's so good to see you.
You too. I mean, it's kind of crazy. You and I go way, way back. I remember we were in Paris 20 years ago or so and met up with you when you were at T2 Magazine.
Absolutely. Yeah. I started with T2 Magazine in 2001.
Well, hello. Welcome to I Love Gay Today. And this is fun. We're in South Africa today, and we are here with filmmaker Gabe Gabriel and actor Earl Gregory. How are you two?
Hi.
Good.
It's such a pleasure to connect with you both, and you're just proving out once again. I mean, once upon a time, we all got connected on the internet, and then we started chatting with each other and communicating more and more. But now this level of collaboration and how everybody just sort of engages with each other, it's
And in this episode of the Nicholas Snow Show, we are on opposite ends of the United States. And a shout out to your guest for their cameos on my show because of the clips that you provided. How do you feel about having been now in front of the camera for a year? What's that been like for you?
No, I've enjoyed it. So it was going back when I was talking about going around the world doing presentations. There was a time when I could meet in front of a large group of people in order to do a presentation, but you put me on a podium on a stage and I would just not know what to do. And I realized that's dumb. I got to figure that. I got to get past that. So I had learned how to be able to kind of go up, present, talk, engage with the audience, and this is almost like that same evolution. All of a sudden, a pandemic hit. We had time on our hands and didn't know what to do, and thought, start to kind of keep in touch with some of the folks we've been working with and bringing their stories to light. And it allowed me to learn something about myself that I didn't know, which is that I could do this. And both being in front of the camera, but then also the technology to be able to kind of evolve with that, grow up with it, learn how to improve my sound, my visuals, and be able to make it so that we can make a fun, quick, 10 to 15-minute show.
Okay, so I want to do some sort of rapid fire for you.
Oh no.
So I'm gonna state a category, and I want you to talk about the first guest that comes to mind over the last year, with no insults to anyone else in that category that he's interviewed, audience. But I just want you to tell me the first guest that comes to mind within the last year that most relates to the category I mentioned, and something that you loved about that particular interview. And the first category is business. My brain
doesn't work well that way.
Oh, okay.
I have to be better creative. I have to be creative. I've got so many in my head. And but I'm getting the flow. My favorite business one that I have done, at least recently, was with Earl Folks, who's with the DC Center for Equality in DC, and he's been a pioneer with Black Pride, and he's done so much over the years. But he teamed up with community marketing with Tom Roth and their team to create this Black LGBT study, and we interviewed him, and the things he had to say and what he was able to bring to light. I felt very honored that we were able to kind of be there with him for that.
Okay, next category, movies.
We've done a lot of movies. So I can only think of the most recent ones. We just did another interview with someone yesterday, because the fun part about the movies is that I get to play the trailers in the edited versions of this as well.
Sometimes YouTube will ding you for that, but there's ways around it.
Yeah, that's their trailer. So fortunately, it seems to work. But I will not say that I have any favorite movies, but I have definitely enjoyed, especially even the one that you just saw with Gabe Gabriel out of South Africa. Here's a show that I knew nothing about, and I'm just waiting for Netflix or Showtime to be able to make it so that we can start to see that outside South Africa.
All right, travel.
My favorites were with the Gay and Lesbian Travel Association of Australia, because they teamed up with us to bring their members to light. And so we interviewed the City Mardi Gras, Midsummer Festival, and a variety of their different members, culminating with Louise Terry getting on up with us, and just talking about the things that are going on in Australia, bringing Australia to light so we understand more about how they feel, what they're up to. And I loved that entire series that we did, and we're going to do more of those, including with IGLTA later this year as well.
Okay, music.
My favorite music was Q Reviews out of Canada. That guy Kenny, he's amazing, and the stuff that I think I fell in love. I was in love with him and wanted to interview him and bring his story to light, even before we met through I Love Gay, because we were engaged with each other on Twitter so much, and I felt like I knew him already, and so once we were able to bring him on up on our show, it just solidified that relationship.
Okay, media.
Yeah. Media. Who have we brought on that was with media other than you?
Alex Rodriguez has been on your show, hasn't he?
Oh, yeah. See, that's the thing is I'm getting old. And so
That's okay. I'm happy to give Alex a shout out. He's doing a lot of
you
exciting
totally
things.
should. But we had him as he's actually been on the show a couple times, and he's actually helped us because of some of the things that have evolved from the I Love Gay Today show, become, doing more serious panels and different things that kind of bring a business topic to light. And he has been with us for all that because, he's pioneered On the Rocks on Air with Alex Rodriguez. He's doing a lot of stuff with Metro Source Magazine. All the work that he does, including then we brought him on with Pop On and the work that we were doing with this kind of virtual panel and advisory group. And so, and we plan on taking the discussions in LGBT media to another level as well through all this.
Did you like how I was really prepared to bring that up on screen right away?
I was not expecting that. That was quick.
Also, tell me, is that the best way for people to find these great shows that you've been talking about? And what are additional ways for people to find the I Love Gay Today videos?
Yeah, we summarize everything. They can easily get to it all at ilovegay.today. Turns out that domain .today is out there. So ilovegay.today makes life far easier to go right to a summary of all of our shows. And then it links over to the YouTube channel where they all are. And fortunately, as Google, because they own YouTube, makes them all very easy via search as well.
Okay, I'm actually updating the. There we go. Visit ilovegay.today. Fantastic.
Come on, Nicholas. You want to say www.
You know what? Thank goodness people don't need that anymore.
I know. You were very good at that, though.
Thank you. And if you didn't compliment me, it would be a glaring omission. That's another inside joke, not related to complimenting me. It's a whole other story. So the world is opening up again, and I'm sure that you must be very excited about that. Yeah. And I'm curious if you would talk about how you personally are going to step back into the world of travel.
Yeah. Well, with travel, just to kind of go out, see clients and so forth, that is going to change. And there'll probably be less of that. On a personal level, we'll probably end up traveling where maybe we'll go to Mexico for a month and go to just a couple destinations there. And while I'm there, I'm going to spend more time connecting with business folks that I've been engaged with online for many years, or I've met at different conferences over the years. So it's going to be a different tempo, a different style. But the first time that we kind of get out, it'll probably be with the IGLTA in September in Atlanta. And with the IGLTA, which is Gay and Lesbian Travel Association, we're going to be able to have, we're going to try to be able to take this show and be doing interviews physically on the trade show floor or wherever they end up putting us. And so we're going to end up trying to be able to adapt this show to being able to do things that are more in the real world. We've done a few so far. We were in Hawaii recently. And each one of those has been kind of a learning curve for that. It's very different to go from a studio setting into the real world and get the same kind of quality that we're expecting.
That's very exciting. Now, in terms of the people that you're working with in the industry, I know that the travel industry, they're working on solutions to these challenges as well.
Yeah.
Are you at this point partnering with specific individuals or companies on their messaging as things open up?
It's still too soon. It's just starting to. I would tell you that I'm getting a sense. I thought it was going to happen in February, where things would just kind of explode, and with the inauguration happening and everything kind of moving forward. But it didn't. It's actually a very slow February for us, and I noticed, I believe, for others as well. But we've noticed as soon as kind of March kicked in, it got much busier and stronger. And Visit Britain is one of our past clients that has come back. It's our very, very first destination that is back, and they're their messaging is very soft. And in fact, when they use footage from that was taken before the pandemic, they're making it very clear that all of this was shot and created pre-pandemic, so that people don't get a sense that they're out there being, talking about something that doesn't really exist yet in terms of people being able to run around, in this case, Edinburgh, to be able to discover Scotland. So, but we're seeing this, you're going to see more and more kind of like that door cracking open a little wider and a little wider. And I think like myself and others, we all get a sense that I would just say over the last week or so, things are starting to really move forward quickly, where I think business is going to start coming back and destinations are going to be a part of that.
Well, I'm looking forward to having the vaccines and continuing to follow science and medical advice and re-engaging with everybody out there. I think I told you off the air my virginity has grown back, Matt. It's like, maybe that's TMI for all of you, but it's true.
You and Betty White, you can talk about your dusty muffins.
Oh my goodness. So I've had pinkmedia.lgbt on screen, and I'd love for you to speak more broadly about the whole array of things that you're doing under the banner of Pink Media.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, everything we've done for all these years, even back in the Gay Wire days, it was always the same. Companies would come to us and say, I want to be a part of that. And usually they had a story to tell as well. So when you have a website, you're able to help them tell their story, get their banner ads out there, get the email campaigns going. And after we sold that, we were able to kind of continue doing some of what we still enjoyed the most, which is helping those companies reach their target audience online in the LGBT community, but we were no longer constrained to our own website. So it evolved from just website placements and then into what we see today with mobile apps and social media and Facebook and Twitter and a lot better targeting. So everything we do is just the same thing, but with a lot better tools and technology to really fine tune and help companies get their message out to those audiences. And that's where I Love Gay on the Twitter network side kind of evolved into being a part of that as well, because each one of those profiles we have helps companies reach a target audience very organically.
Speaking of Twitter, so PromoHomo.TV is distributed in partnership with the hashtag I Love Gay campaign, which has been spectacular. And I love just showing off your logo at the top of every show and all over my website. But more importantly, you have let me know that the way that I've learned to use Twitter through you is allowing me to reach more and more people through that very powerful avenue. And it's basically miniature storytelling with the opportunity for people to link more broadly beyond that. Why do you think, for newbies out there, why do you think Twitter is really the place to be?
Yeah, I mean, I try to condense this. It's just, everybody, Facebook, everybody's comfortable with, and on Instagram, everyone loves it. But there are limitations with Facebook. You can only have 5,000 people you're connected to there. Instagram, you can only follow 7,500. Now, to be a celebrity on Instagram or to make Instagram work, you need to have more than 7,500. So that means that you got to find a reason for more people to follow you than you're following. Most of us don't really get there, but some do, and they can do quite well. But again, everybody loves Instagram, but the real power that we're finding is on Twitter. Twitter has a capability to be able to do that storytelling in 280 characters or less. It has a call to action. You could link to something, while on Instagram, it's much more difficult to do so. But even more importantly, it's kind of this infinite scalability where you can reach 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 in terms of you could follow them, they could follow you back. Not all of us are going to be that popular, but you can have kind of this infinite scalability for how many people can follow you. And more importantly, Twitter allows you to reach friends of friends. So the other ones don't. So on Twitter, when you post something, people that you're not connected to in any way can see your post. And the more engaged you are with your followers and people of like certain themes and in your industry, certain categories that are related to your business, more and more of those people will start to see your posts, and so will everybody that they're connected to. And it's that piece that allows posts to kind of really go viral out there. There's a reason why the country was run over the last 4 years on nothing but Twitter, because Twitter does have that kind of reach and does kind of get out there into that, for lack of a better word, mini viral world where we're not probably going to go viral for everything we post, but at least you have the potential to be able to go mini viral and be able to get things out there in a way that you can't do on any of the other platforms.
Well, thank you for that. And Matt provides so much insightful information at pinkmedia.lgbt. I think it would be fun for us to tell people how we met. So why don't we, usually when you've been on and I've talked about it, I've told my version of the story.
Yeah,
why don't you tell your version of the story about how I ended up knowing you?
Yeah, well, I think correct me whenever I think you found me, but we found each other online. through all this. But it was one of those things like, hey, I like what you're doing. This is what I'm doing, because you had your cable show. And I was living in San Diego at the time, and we met up at Jerry's Deli, if I'm getting that name of that business.
Jerry's famous deli across the street from Cedar Sinai on Beverly during my lunch hour, because my day job was at Cedar Sinai.
We had lunch together, and we realized that we had a lot of common ground in terms of how we saw where things were going to be going. And this was in the 90s, and all that common ground was dedicated to what we're doing right now: video, communicating, or trying to figure out a way to get that video from the real world into the online space when you're at a Pride festival, or in your case, when you're physically at your show. And how do we do that? And I mean, when you look at what we did to get your show on video and have live chat and so forth, it's crazy. We had phone lines dragged across the way, those modems that were slow, and yet we made it work.
Yeah, what Matt is referring to is on my public access television show, which I produced for 7 years in the 90s, called Tinseltown's Queer, which I described as a Queen's version of Larry King. We did some of the very first television internet live simulchats, where people could watch the live show, and then we would put them into the we would address them on television as we were seeing people in the chat. And one of the things that happened is people would access the chat that couldn't access the show, and we'd kind of weave them together. And it was fantastic. So a friend of mine, Lynn, is complimenting the background and explaining she didn't know that I worked at Cedars. There's lots of things you don't know, Lynn, and some of them I will never tell. Thank you for tuning in, though, Lynn. She's a very big powerhouse in the cannabis industry. Look her up on LinkedIn. She's very, very active on LinkedIn, especially if you're into cannabis. See, I'm a PromoHomo. I'm promoting my viewer and friend, Lynn. So, Matt, what's next for you?
Yeah. Well, actually, and you and I hadn't talked about any of this stuff, but I will tell you that everything from the I Love Gay Today show is evolving into new things. One of them that you've seen, we're kind of creating a broader show with panelists focused on business topics, and that's what LGBTQ Pop On is all about. It's all about just kind of diving in. In this case, it was about the world of LGBT podcasting. But the next one we're going to get into is tourism, and just jumping in with panelists on Zoom. But then what we do is we end up taking all those conversations and editing them into something larger and higher quality than just a bunch of talking heads on Zoom. So we've learned to do that. And then I will tell you the part that we haven't talked about is that we are going to now start kind of putting some of the interviews that we've done, either in the past or the ones we're going to be working on, together into a theme, and putting together something that kind of weaves the interviews together into a broader story. So what we mean by that is that there's a lot going on with LGBT bar owners fighting for survival. There's a lot going on with their GoFundMe page, or just a lot of different things. In fact, the Gill Foundation is now stepping up and putting money into helping Julius Bar in New York, Stonewall Inn, to be able to survive during this time, so that they can continue on when the bars start to open up. So we're going to interview each one, a variety of different bar owners that are fighting for survival, and interview some of their different stories. But then we're going to weave those stories together into a broader story in video that kind of ties a lot of that together and helps people understand kind of from different perspectives what's happening out there. And we're actually going to go to New York in April and get some live coverage, as well as integrate some of these Zoom videos as well. So it's going to be kind of a new format, new style. And I feel comfortable that we can do it here, but it's going to take all these conversations and take them to a next level.
I'm so looking forward to expanding my own productions in similar way as we open back up. And I want to commend you on the look and feel of your show. And one of the things that was very important to me as I was launching the expansion of what I do, even though I've been doing it for a long time, in this particular year, everybody and their brother became a online journalist, and I wanted to make sure that I was definitely had a high production values. I wanted to have a look and feel of network television. I wanted to bring my true skills as a journalist to the table, to differentiate myself from people that were, just doing it as a hobby and just trying. So that's, that's been a personal goal of mine, but I have to say that your show has looked professional from the get-go as well. So congratulations on that.
Well, thank you. Yeah, no, those
Another
first
friend
ones,
of
those
mine
first
is
ones,
watching. Go ahead.
oh, I was going to say those first ones, I didn't even have like a green screen and a virtual background. It was a physical thing that looked like this that was from Pride festivals that I used to drag along with me. And so, going from that to this has been a huge leap forward.
Well, and because of you, the whole community has taken a huge leap forward because of all of us and the work that we've been doing together and the people that have done the work before us. It's a journey that keeps going. And I know that you occur to people as a businessman, which you are, but I also know that you're passionate and you believe in causes. Talk a little bit about kind of the activist influence in what you do and why you think that's important.
Yeah, I think a lot of that started even back earlier on in my business career, because I realized that I did have things to offer in terms of just with the things we were doing online and helping others try to navigate that newfound internet space as well. And so we were on board with, I joined the board of IGLTA back in the early 2000s. And that was probably one of the most impactful for me. And it's still, even to this day, it keeps me very close with that organization, because I was able to be there at just the right time when we were able to kind of take the organization from working with a lot of smaller businesses into where it's at today, working with larger hotel chains and destinations and so forth. And I don't take credit for where they're at today, but at least I was able to help along the path to where they got to. And so I enjoyed that. And then from there, I started working with other organizations, the Los Angeles Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce, Travel Gay Canada, and the Canadian Gay Chamber up in Canada. So I started doing similar types of roles with boards that I was doing with IGLTA, and I continued to do that up until just a few years ago. And then finally, I started to kind of put that more into part of my history, just because there's only so much you can do. And also being on boards, some of them are good and some of them drive you crazy.
Is there anything you want to add to our discussion that we haven't talked about?
No, I think it's just, I'm looking forward to where things are going. And I do feel optimistic for this year. I feel it's going to be slow, just kind of a methodical improvement month by month. And I'm going to enjoy learning from how people are, because a lot of the things that have changed over the last year, it's going to then kind of it's not going to be normal. People kind of know it's going to be like this new normal is going to come back. And so I'm always curious, what is that new normal going to look like? And so I'm kind of excited just to be able to have a small part in kind of steering or being a part of where this new normal goes.
I think that forever we're going to be creating that new normal. Viewers can find Matt's program at ilovegay.today. And if you're interested in the broader opportunity to engage with Matt in his various online support that he gives businesses, you can check out Pink Media .lgbt. Matt, as always, it's really wonderful to see you and to have you on the show. And I love and appreciate your friendship, and our decades of collaboration. So thank you.
Thank you. It's very mutual. So it's been wonderful.
Thank you. Stick around. I'll talk to you in a minute in the green room. And thank you for all of you for watching. Matt is wonderful. You really want to start watching his I Love Gay Today show, and it's everywhere. It's everywhere. He's just a great guy doing important work, and I'm happy to showcase him. And I'm so excited that you tuned in today, and I will see you next time. Oh, 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 oh.